Hi Sagittarius, welcome to Yellow Cardinal Tarot with me. My name is Carole and this is going to be a general reading for you for March 2026. I hope you're all doing well. I want to let you know that I'm offering personal readings on my website, carolecares.com, and there's a link in the description box and it's also in the comment section. And that'll take you to my website, like I said, and there's also a lot of information on there about distance healing that I offer. I'm a shamanic practitioner, and so there's a whole page on there on shamanism that explains a lot about what I do and who I am. And I offer a 15-minute free consultation just to chat about shamanism or about the healing that I do, and if you're interested in it, and that as well, there's a link for that in both those places that I mentioned, and it's on my my website as well. So you can have a look at that if you want. But we're going to be doing your reading today. So this channel is all about healing. I am a survivor of sexual abuse and trafficking, and I've been healing intensively for almost 9 years now. And as we go along and through our healing journey, we find that we discover new things about ourselves as we start to heal. And one of the things that I've discovered is tarot reading, that I was meant to read tarot. I wanted to read tarot and I didn't know. And so that came up. And then also my shamanism. I'm a shamanic healer, like I said. So that's come up. And so oftentimes when we want to take our life in a new direction, we want to take, could be a small step, but feels like an absolute huge step for us. So anything we want to do for ourselves, to better ourselves, to grow ourselves, to something that's very creative, and by that I mean it's something very purposeful. It's something that we've always maybe wanted to do, and you get this idea in your head, I want to do this, but we sometimes get really stuck. And we can't figure out why. We can't figure out how to take that next step. You know, maybe you know what you want to do, but you're just feeling really like you can't do it. A lot of resistance, a lot of fear maybe. And so what we need to look at is our patterns. Like one of the places that we can really start to do some significant healing is to look at our patterns. What are the things that are happening to us, or the people that we are inviting into our life, or what's happening? What's the pattern? And you know what it is. Why do I keep on doing this? Why do I keep on inviting these people into my life? And they're going to be, the patterns I'm talking about are the ones that have these big emotional responses to them, right? There's a lot of emotion around them that's really triggering you. And so we're going to look at the pattern that's showing up for you this month. And because that's the place we go to heal. Because, you know, there's something that's coming up from our childhood that needs healing around this pattern. And so that's what we're going to look at. That's what's going to come in part 2. That's the shadow work part, where, okay, because this needs healing, it's causing this pattern to keep repeating in our life. And then finally what we're going to do is we're going to ask for some advice from the tarot that will help you begin to heal this pattern, right? And then I will offer you some playlists or videos that I've done on my other YouTube channel called Carole Cares. And there are videos that I've done in the past to focus on maybe some emotions that you need to heal around. There's some healing around big emotions that you need, or situations, or so I'll do that for you at the end. So let's begin with a pattern. And I'm going to be using the Ehrenberg Tarot, and I'm going to clarify it with the Radiant Rider-Waite, and I've shuffled them all before I came on. So I want a pattern that's showing up in Sagittarius's life right now in March that they're aware of, and that you're aware of, and you need to look at this and you need some healing around it. So let's look at this pattern for them. One card. You have the Strength card in reverse. And what aspect from your shadow needs healing? It's something that lives in our unconscious. If you need some more information about shadow work And what it is, maybe you're thinking you want to start it, or just get a little bit more information on it. I've left a really good video down below in my description box that I've done, and it will really get you on your way to finding out how to do it. It's one that I put together myself, and it talks about all the other videos that I've done around my own shadow work that I've done, my own healing. It's very helpful, I find. So let's look at what aspect from your shadows driving this pattern. What is it that needs healing? So that you can bring awareness to this pattern and start to heal it. Awareness is everything. We need the memories. We can't ignore them. We need to know, what is it we need healing? What happened to us when we were younger? And what's buried here in your unconscious? So I need one card. Did that one flip? No. But there is one that flipped. I'm just going to flip it back over because I don't remember it flipping. So it wasn't that card that flipped. Okay, so one card. There we go. Okay, so we have the Ten of Pentacles in reverse. And what advice does the Tarot have for you to begin to heal this pattern? Ace of Swords. All right, so I like to say to, my listeners out there that I don't give you any magic pill here, but the Tarot will offer you something, tell you something, this is what you need to focus on. Start here, because oftentimes we don't know where to start to heal, right? So can I have a couple cards for the Strength card in reverse? Clarify this for Sagittarius. There's one. Oh, you get the Strength upright. And I'm wondering if it's very powerful here. I'm going to ask for one more card here. But a lot of times it means for me to stop. And it's like, no, this is what I need here is strength. Try it one more time. And another card. There we go. Another card that's needed. Oh, High Priestess. That High Priestess came out in the last reading. Aquarius's reading. Right, pretty much in the same spot. Ten of Pentacles came out too in the last reading. Fascinating how cards repeat themselves in a reading. A couple cards for the Ten of Pentacles, please. There, that one. I saw a flip. And it was an important card because it's the Tower in reverse. So, not the Tower, but the Tower in reverse. So it's not the same at all. Page of Swords. Right beside the Tower in reverse. Ace of Swords here. There we go. So you have the Three of Cups and the Wheel of Fortune. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is, before we begin, I'd like to look at what the Major Arcana cards are that came out on the table. Because the Major Arcana cards are the big universal forces that are working for you right now. And it's almost like those are the ones that you need to grab onto, right? And recognize that these are sort of the themes of this reading. So the first one, we have incredible amount of, for the pattern that's showing up in your life right now, you have this incredible support that's around you right now. You have the Strength card in reverse, the Strength card in an upright position, and then you have the High Priestess in reverse. So three Major Arcana card right here in the first part. So that's huge for you. In the second part, you have the Tower in reverse. And so we're going to really look at that Tower in reverse and remember that that's something that when we look at your childhood, when we look at your adolescence, that's what I look at when I'm looking for the aspect of your shadow that's driving this pattern, what needs healing. You have a Tower in reverse here that's sitting here in your childhood or your adolescence. And then finally for the advice from the Tarot, you have the Wheel of Fortune card here. And that's your other Major Arcana. So you have, big universal forces right here, Sagittarius, that are here for you right now, that are saying, listen, take advantage of these, the universe and how they're here. And you can call it the creator, you can call it God, you can call it spirit, whatever it is out there, but you've got them all there for you right now. So if we look at the pattern in your life right now that's showing up for you, you have the Strength card in reverse. Okay, we're going to start off with that because that's the main card. But it's clarified by the Strength card here in an upright position. So what does that mean? Well, the Strength card talks about, you know, obviously it's strength, right? So you have physical strength, and then you have the inner strength. You know, a lot of us, and I'm going to say most of us on this earth, would choose the physical strength. I can run, I'm not talking about myself because I don't run. I can run, you know, this many kilometers or this many miles a day. No problem. But for me to go inwards and have that inner strength to look at my stuff, no way. There's no way, right? So there's the difference between the physical strength and the inner strength. Well, the Strength card talks about the strength to go inwards. If you look at this particular one in an upright position, look at this woman, how she's prying that lion's head open, you know, no fear at all. And when I look at that, I think of the Pandora's box. And so I think there's a real, the pattern here that's showing up for you is that whenever you go to maybe try to feel these big emotions that are coming up for you, you know there's something here. You know there's emotions here. You know there's maybe memory or something that's coming up for you to look at. You just shut it all back down and go, I can't do it. I can't do it. You don't feel like you have that inner strength. And this has happened to me before all the time where we get these big defenses, you know, because it's in reverse. This tells me that you have this big defense against healing your stuff because it's too painful. You don't want to look at, you don't feel like you have the strength. But this little card right here, right? Little card comes in a small package. It's huge. It's upright. It's saying you do have the strength, Sagittarius. You have this strength. It's right here for you. You know, if you could only believe that you can do this, that you can heal this, that you can look at your emotions, but you're like, I can't do it. I can't do it. And you know, it could be the strength to look at your stuff. It could be the strength to do this next thing that you want to do. You can't do it. You're feeling like you just can't do it. And then you have the Major Arcana card. The other one that comes out is the High Priestess. And the High Priestess is in reverse again because this tells me something about you. You are up in your head, very much up in your head saying, I can't do this. There is a part of you, I call it the ego self, and it's repeating over and over in your head going, you can't do this. Don't go here. Don't you dare do this next step. Why do you want to do this? Who do you think you are? You're hearing all those things in your head, and it's causing fear. It's causing anxiety in your head. And because of that, you've blocked this very important part of you, which is your intuition. The High Priestess is our intuition. She's this feminine part. Sorry, I'm feeling something in my throat. She's this feminine side to you. We all have a masculine and a feminine part to ourselves. Doesn't have anything to do with our gender. But and they're quite lopsided, you know. We can be very much in our heads, which is the masculine side of us, our ego. And then there's this other part that wants to come out as your feminine side. It's saying, you have this feminine side. It's called your intuition. It's your inner knowing. It's your inner gut. And if you could get in touch with that and know, it'll tell you what your next step is. It'll tell you what this memory is. It's like a decision making for us. But we use this to make our decisions. Well, we can't fix anything with our mind. It's impossible. The real fixing and the real healing has to come when we're embodied. When we're embodied. When we're in our body. And that's where we get in touch with our intuition. But that's blocked right now because you are too much in your head. Your ego self is saying, no, you can't do this. No, it's just impossible. And that's the fear. That's the anxiety, right? There's something, a lot of times I find when we're needing to get to a big emotion of anger, we will definitely, that's when our anxiety comes out. Because behind anxiety, our ego self is going, oh, no, don't go there. There's anger coming up. And, you know, it's like, no, you can't go there. And it wants to block it. So that's where the blocking comes from. The blocking comes from our ego that's just petrified of you getting at these emotions. It's a very scared part. And so what is it here? What aspect from your shadow is driving this pattern, you know, this pattern of being up in your head all the time and listening to those fears and listening to your ego self telling you why you can't do this. So there's a reason why as a child or as an adolescent, you have learned that the place to stay is up in your head. It's safe up there. There's no emotions. And so I'm going to say that when you're younger, the Ten of Pentacles comes out here. And there's a real block that, you know, is not allowing you to look at this. And the Ten of Pentacles speaks about our generational trauma. I look at the Ten of Pentacles as the card of, it speaks about generations, but it also speaks about those things that are handed down to us, those things that happened to us when you were younger. And we talked about the Tower was something that you very much need to look at because you have both of these in reverse. And so there's something generationally that was handed down to you from, you know, the people that took care of you, people around you, people, you know, could be authority figures. Something happened to you when you were younger. And it's a generational thing, which means it probably happened to your parents or your grandparents, or, you know, it's something that was handed down. Could be a big emotion as well. And there was a Tower moment that happened to you when you were younger. Something happened to you where you learned at a very young age. Because when the Tower moment comes in reverse, it's not like this big, huge thing happened to you. It's like when it's not in the shadow, when it's not sitting right here, I always see it as like a final red flag before the big Tower moment happens. And so I'm going to say that when you were younger, you learned that there was something that you weren't allowed to do, something that you weren't allowed to feel. And I'm going to say, because of the Page of Swords that's hanging out here, this is like an inner child card, the Page. And it's got that sword of authenticity in its hand. It's got that truth in their hand, that who they really are. There was something like when you were younger, because there was something that happened to you, trauma, something handed down to you, you learned that it wasn't safe to be you and your authentic self. And so maybe you've been struggling with something coming up here, like getting back. I'm feeling like there's something that you want to do, something that you're starting to finally see, a piece of who you really are, but it can't come out. You don't have the strength to bring it out right now. Because when you were younger, for some reason, there's this inner child of yours that needs healing, that carries your authentic self, carries who you are. But you were told, no, you put that away. Like maybe there's something you really want to do right now. It's like, let's just think of something like, oh my God, I realized I want to play the piano. I think I wanted to play that when I was younger, and I was told, you know, well, you're not going to play it. We don't have any money. We can't do that. Something, you know, similar to that, where you were completely shut down. And so that authentic you got put away, got blocked, denied. And so when that happens, there's some huge emotions that are related to that. Just think of it when you're younger and, you know, you're told you're not allowed to do something. Well, there's a lot of shame there. There's a lot of grief behind that as a child, because when we're 4, 5, 6 years old, we knew who we were. And so to get told that you're someone else or you're something else or you can't do that, there's a lot of grief buried behind that. And so let's look at, okay, what do we do? What do you do about this situation? And this is general reading, so you can apply this to what's happening to you right now with this pattern that's showing up for you, right? Where you just don't have the strength to look at it. Well, the Ace of Swords coming out for you. Fascinating that the Ace is here for you, because we talked about this inner child here that needs healing. It's the one that knew who they were. And so this Ace comes out. It's the sword. It's that sword of authenticity that this inner child is holding. It's who you are. And so here's a new offer from the universe, from Creator, from Source, from God, that's saying, listen, Sagittarius, here's a chance for you to get back to who you are. There is a direction that the universe wants to take you on right now. And it's part of you, who you are, who you really are, that was lost when you were younger. And so it's time now for you to pick up that, this Three of Cups talks about, the three is all about co-creation. It's all about your creativity. And look at these three feminine figures raising their cups, their emotions, their feminine side. It's time now that you start to realize that you have this feminine side, because you have been up in your head for so long. That's your masculine ego blocking these important emotions that need to come out. Ones like grief and shame when you were told when you were younger, you're not that person. You're not allowed to be that person. It's funny, I was reading something this morning, something that came up in my feed about, being told we knew who we were when we were younger, but unfortunately, people told us that we weren't that person. Imagine that. When you're told when you were younger, you knew who you were, and you're told, no, you can't be that person. The confusion behind that, right? The despair, the shame, and the anger, and all those emotions. Here's these three feminine figures. It's time you start to look at that feminine side of yours, about becoming grounded, about getting in touch with our intuition, so that we can start to feel emotions, feeling our emotions. That's the feminine side of us. And I think, to get to your true authentic self, authenticity is another beautiful feminine quality here. So there's a real pull here towards your feminine side. And the last card that comes out is a major arcana card, is the Wheel of Fortune. And the Wheel of Fortune talks about changes in circumstances. We can continue to repeat and repeat the same things over and over again. But in order for you to change your direction, to go into that new direction that you want to go into, Sagittarius, you have this strength. You can do this. You can go inwards now. You can learn how to ground yourself, to get in your body, to start to feel. I think what's needed for you, Sagittarius, is learning how to ground yourself, learning what it means to fully be grounded, and to be able to get in touch with your inner guidance. Not this up here, but get in your body so that you can get in touch with some of these emotions, that are related to what you were told when you were younger, how your true self was, your authenticity was ripped from you, taken from you. You were told you were someone else. You were told you were someone else. And so I think you need to get in touch with your true self, getting grounded, getting back into your body is the ultimate, the truest form of self-love, is to find out who you really are, to become you, the real person that you're meant to be. So I want you to have compassion for yourself, Sagittarius, for what you're working through. This is the most difficult journey of your life, your healing journey, but it's the most important one. So take care, and I'll talk soon.